I don't have to stress how big this matchup is tomorrow in Bloomington, Indiana. Here at Assembly Hall, the #1 ranked Boilermakers are traveling down to take on the #21 ranked Indiana Hoosiers. Now, the Hoosiers just suffered a loss 66-55 against Maryland earlier in the week. Need to improve upon their shooting. They only shot an abysmal 37.5% from the field. But when it comes to these two, the big matchup is in the paint. Trace Jackson-Davis, Zach Edey, two of the best players in the entire country, matching up against each other down low. It's going to be quite the battle to watch.
When you look at Edey, he's seen double teams, he's seen zones. The guy is just a big presence in the middle that demands the ball. And they go to him a lot more than they did last season, because he didn't play the minutes that he's playing now last season. So, my thing is, we got to just play him as hard as we can play him. We're going to have to play, too. I mean, offensively, we're going to have to make shots to keep them honest as well. But our defense has got to be a signature coming into that game. I mean, we're going to have to defend and rebound with this team.
The Boilermakers are coming off a 9-game win streak. And this rivalry runs deep. There are going to be people lined up all the way outside the stadium tomorrow, trying to stay warm just to get a glimpse at the action that's going to take place in Assembly Hall tomorrow. But for now, reporting live from Bloomington, I'm Noel Fary. March Madness is finished, and wow, what is it a good one. For the first time in tournament history, not a single one-seed advanced to the Elite Eight, allowing San Diego State and UConn to find their way into the championship game in very different ways. NRG Stadium in Houston is packed for an unlikely matchup of a 4-seed and a 5-seed. Fans know this really is anyone's game. First big exclamation point. Joey Calcaterra floats it up. Donovan Clingan, who throws it down. 14-10 UConn looks hot to start off, and it doesn't stop there. In transition, Andre Jackson style points. It's good. Between the legs dime to Calcaterra sees the Huskies take a 16-point lead, 36-20. But this game's not over yet. Darian Trammell hustles and finishes on the steal in traffic to cut the lead to 6. But it didn't turn out to be enough for the Aztecs as Andre Jackson Jr. sees Jordan Hawkins cutting inside to really put this one out of reach. 71-57 UConn. Huskies win their 5th national championship in program history and prove the doubters wrong as a 4-seed. If you want to talk about elite trash talkers, look no further than the women's tournament championship matchup between Iowa and LSU. Caitlin Clark for the Hawkeyes and Angel Reese for the Tigers have been loud the entire tournament, and this game was no different. Neither team has ever taken home a national championship for their school, and Caitlin Clark looks to change that. Why not? Deep ball for Caitlin Clark to start off the game. When she's hitting those, look out. But Johnson drives in on Clark and one finish. Hawkeyes cannot believe the call. Caitlin Clark working on the elevator screen from Sinano. Good! She simply can't be stopped. But the Tigers never looked like they weren't up for the challenge. Give me one for Jasmine Carson. And what's next? Give me 2. The Tigers' late Iowa has a lot of ground to cover. And Clark found herself in foul trouble all game, and this one really sealed it. It's a controversial call there, and Clark lets the moment get the better of her, and the technical is called. Down the stretch, nothing could go right for the Hawkeyes. And to wrap it up, Alexis Morris, go get a bucket. LSU wins it. Angel Reese for the Tigers, you cannot see me. The Tigers send the National Player of the Year packing and win the first title in school history. You really can't ask for anything more out of March, with plenty of upsets and thrillers. Fans have their eyes set to next year to see what recruits and transfers their teams can bring in to hopefully go dancing next year. That's all for today. For IU Sports, I'm Noel Fary. What's up, everyone? I'm Noel Fary here in the Target Center in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Got a big matchup today in the semifinals of the Big Ten Women's Basketball Tournament. Indiana Hoosiers taking on the Ohio State Buckeyes. Now, these are two teams that have met 2 times before this season, both times with Indiana coming out victorious. Yesterday, the Hoosiers had a little bit of an early scare against the Michigan State Spartans, but were able to come away with the 9-point victory. Both teams overall yesterday in the quarterfinals struggled in keeping their opponents away from the free throw line and making sure that they're getting good, clean defensive stops. So we'll see if they can clean that up today and if the Hoosiers can come away with the season sweep. Stay tuned for a great game. What's up, guys? I'm Noel Fary here with your Macron player of the game, Roman Coots. Roman, you hit a clutch home run down the stretch. What was going through your mind as that ball was coming towards you?
Well, with Doug taking the lead, getting the RBI to take the lead right before it, I knew we had a one-run lead and just wanted to have some insurance runs on. And Doug was on third with no outs, so I was just trying to put the ball hard in place somewhere to get him in.
For a long time, the offense seemed kind of stagnant. What was going on in the dugout and around the guys that got you back into this game?
I think that we kind of realized towards the second half of the game, it's 0-0. We just need to lock it in here and just try to put more balls in play, and the barrels will fall.
Roman, you're my idol.
See a comment from Doug Loden over there, who hit a clutch triple to take the initial lead for the Corn Dogs. And finally, Roman, now moving towards the playoffs, how does it feel to be able to grab crucial wins like this, especially in crunch time?
It's always important in the second half of the season. It's when that's when you can really make it or break it in the standings, and a lot of teams want it right now, so it's just nice to keep getting wins and keep padding it a little bit more for us.
Great. Thanks, Roman.
Yep, no problem.
At this point, the Seahawks are starting to look gassed and desperate, and the Packers' defense is swarming, and it's clear that a spark isn't going to be coming from the Seahawks' offense. So on fourth down, instead of taking the 38-yard field goal, the Seahawks bust out the fake field goal, and punter John Ryan floats a touchdown to offensive lineman Gary Gilliam for the Seahawks' first score of the day. Now, this was a surprisingly great rollout by John Ryan for a punter, as it forced Packers linebacker A.J. Hawk to make a decision between pressuring the throw and contesting the catch. He chose wrong, and the Seahawks are now on the board. Unfortunately, the Legion of Boom let up another field goal after playing such a long game, giving the Packers the 19-7 lead with just 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. And once again, disaster strikes for the Seahawks offense. Another deflected pass by Jermaine Kearse allows the Packers to intercept the ball. And with 5 minutes left, this should have spelled doom for the Seahawks. But wait a minute. Veteran linebacker Julius Peppers tells safety Morgan Burnett to slide instead of taking the interception back for even more yards. But what's the worst that could happen, right? All they need to do is run out the clock while they're up by 2 scores, and the game is over, right? Well, the Legion of Boom gets a quick 3 and out from the Packers, which forces them to punt. Now, let's say Morgan Burnett hadn't slid. Maybe they would have been in field goal range by now. I'm just saying.